The University of Mississippi 17, Florida 24. Look, man, this is soul crushing for Ole Miss fans. My heart breaks for them because I can't reiterate this enough for two reasons that why this is just soul crushing. Ole Miss has the second most experienced team in college football. They're going to lose a lot of guys to the draft, potentially some guys to the portal as well. They may not find themselves in this type of position for a while. Now, with the transfer portal and how active it is, I could be wrong, but just based on the roster, I think it's fair to assume that. Look, deep down, this is the toughest one. This team could have done serious damage in the college football playoff. And I'm not saying it's over, that they can't make it, but it looks highly unlikely right now because this team, the team that barreled Georgia over 28-10, no one just does that, by the way. They beat them convincingly. That was Kirby's most convincing loss he's had since COVID. And Ole Miss destroyed them. So the most soul-crushing realization in this all for Ole Miss is acknowledging this team's capability with the result that it got this year. Ole Miss, I have it right here, has outgained every single opponent that they've played. They're outscoring teams by 20 points per game this year. They outgained Florida by 120 yards. They had more first downs. They nearly doubled them in passing yards. They averaged more yards per carry and lost. Why? Why? I think it's fair we ask the question because Ole Miss made it in Florida territory 8 times and had 17 points. And I'm going to say this. People look at power ratings and say, whoa, why is Ole Miss so high? They have 2-3 losses. Power ratings are meant to be a possession-by-possession metric. They don't associate with resume. They're not trying to build a college football playoff ranking like the committee is. They're trying to say, this who would be favored by how much against who. And Ole Miss, possession by possession, has looked like one of the best, possibly the best team in college football this year. But they can't finish games, man. And one time, you can, sure, maybe it's just a blip in the radar. 2 times? 3 times? 3 times is a theme. Because against Kentucky, man, why did they lose that game? And this Florida game is a little bit similar to that Kentucky game. Because Kentucky, Ole Miss went 1 for 10 on third down. They missed a field goal, and they fumbled. Against Florida, here we go. 3 for 14 on third down. They turned it over twice on downs. They missed a field goal, and they had 3 turnovers. They shot themselves in the foot over and over and over and over again. And LSU, they led the entire game from the start to the very next to last play. Led for that entire game. They were winning 17-7 midway through the fourth quarter. Look, I'm crushed for Ole Miss fans. I really am, especially just seeing how good they've been this year and blowing out South Carolina 27-3, blowing out Georgia 28-10. This team was capable of massive things, and that is a realization that Ole Miss fans are going to have to live with until they're back in this position. Just is. And in terms of Florida, this is a big win for Florida. This is a great morale win. Because now, allegedly, a lot of fans say that team quit on Mullen and that's why he got fired. Remember when they almost lost to Samford and were getting blown out at the end of the 2021 season. This team hasn't quit on Napier. They have had almost nothing to play for in terms of a quote-unquote college football playoff implications and whatever. They really haven't. They could have checked out a while ago. And with how active the transfer portal is and there being utterly no regulation, a lot of guys could have opted out, transferred, started thinking about the NFL draft, you name it. But they didn't. They didn't. They kept in and they kept fighting for Billy Napier, and that's exactly what they did. And this Florida team has earned my respect, man. They really have. And 7-5 may be looked at in the grand scheme of things in Florida history as a very ordinary, maybe below average season. And that's justified. That's a fair way to look at it, judging that Florida has a rich history. But 7-5 against that schedule is huge, especially with how they finished. They finished this season, and the fact that they may have found their guy for years to come with DJ Lagway. 180 yards, 10 yards per pass attempt, 2 touchdowns. Both of these fan bases experienced a lot of emotions here. Ole Miss is sheer agony, and Florida it's relief. It's a breath of fresh air that they really haven't experienced in a while. And you know what, folks? I guess that's just the nature of college football.